Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this tutorial series I'm going to talk about Git. Git is a really powerful software that helps you to version control your project and also manage your project in a way so you can go back to some previous changes that you made, or you can undo some changes that you don't want to do. So let me explain it. Um, Say I have this text file that is supposed to be my project. Okay, so here say I am going to write something. I'm going to say Git is awesome, and then you save this is your day one. You close your code, and then you come back to the second day and you open your project again. Maybe you don't want to do awesome, you want to say Git is good enough. So you change that code, and then you change it back to day 2. That's your changes that you have made. Now you go back, you come back to your project in day 3. Now whatever change that you have done in day 1 is now gone, you cannot go back to there. But say you want to go back to that position, right? This in this example there is only one line. You can do it easily by, because you remember it, you can simply do it by changing it manually, right? But imagine that you have a big project where you have did a huge bunch of changes that you don't want in day 2, or maybe there was some error after you did that code and you want to go back to the previous code, right? So this is one of the example where Git can be really useful. There is a lot of other application of Git. For example, you can do some version controlling. Maybe you have one project that basically this is my project's code, right? So I'm writing some code. I'm going from day 1 to day 13, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and in day 13 I thought that, well, I'm making this game, but I want to make this game for both Android, and also I want to make this game for, say, computer, right? So what do I do? If I'm using Unity, this is really easy. I can make a build. That's awesome. But there is a few problems here. The problems are that many packages that we are going to use in mobile will not be applicable for, say, in computer. So here what we could do, we could create basically two branch. We could just branch out our project from here. We could just in one branch we could do some changes for our PC. So these things will go for my PC build, and finally at some point I get my PC build, right? Awesome. But now all these changes that I created here is not going to be applicable for my Android device. So what should I do? If you are not using Git, then you have to manually undo all these changes, and then you start, like, copy this part somewhere in your computer and start working again. But now, thanks to Git, we have the privilege to start from here. So we can basically create another branch from here. Let me create a branch from here, hypothetically here, right? So I'm creating another branch from here. So all the changes that I have done till this point should be preserved, and I can start working from there and do some changes, create my Android build. This is another application of Git. But in most cases, for beginners, it's really awesome because you can roll back to previous changes, right? So if you do some mistake, you can always go back of the latest thing that was working fine for you. So that is the number one like benefit of Git for me, at least. So enough chit chatting, let's get started with the today's lecture. To do that, we are going to need some software. So let's go back to Google and search for Git, and we need to download Git first. Now there is a few things that I need to clarify before I move on from this point. There is difference between Git and GitHub, right? So we're going to go there eventually, but for now, just let's talk about Git for a while. Forget about GitHub just for now. We're going to go there eventually, right? So yeah, so let's download Git, and I'm going to download it for Windows, and just going to install it. So most of the changes that you're going to do here is going to be default. We're not going to change much. The only thing that we're going to change is this editor. So for me, I like Visual Studio Code. So what this is basically another code editor. So where you can write some sort of text. It's a text editor, right? So you can write down just like Notepad. So you can write down different sort of code, some text, everything. Visual Studio makes it easy to development because it comes up with some default like terminal. So it has some benefits. You will see. So for this tutorial purpose, I am going to use Visual Studio Code, and we're also going to use another software to manage our Git repo. So we're going to go there eventually as well. But make sure you install this Visual Studio Code software for future references. For today's lecture, you're not going to need that, but if you don't install Visual Studio Code, you're not going to see this option in your drop down. Okay, so make sure you have Visual Studio Code installed if you want to use that as your default editor. Okay, all right, so I'm going to use Visual Studio Code as Git's default editor, and then I'm going to go next, next, next. Everything is okay. I am just going to install the software. All right, while it's installing, let's go back to Google and start downloading the second software that we're going to use. This is called Git Kraken. Okay, so Git Kraken is basically a visual editor to manage all your Git related stuff. All these things might confuse you now, but I promise you that eventually it will be really easy for you to understand. And once you understand Git, your life will be so easy, and the development process will be so smooth, believe me. Anyway, so yeah, download this as well, and when it's downloaded, install that. So I already have Git Kraken installed previously in my computer, so the window might look different to you guys, but when it's done installing, you will see something like this. All right. So now in here, we are going to need some way to sign in with Git Kraken. All right. So what we are going to do, we are going to use GitHub. Now, just a few minutes ago, I told you that there is a difference between Git and GitHub. So let's talk about that a bit, and then we're going to move on to GitHub. So basically, Git is a way to, like I said, manage your project so that you can go back, or you can do some branching to make some sort of version controlling and stuff. So all those changes that we are talking about should be in your local directory, right? So what if we want to create a backup of all those things in some remote or in some website? So that is what GitHub is, right? So all those changes that you have done, that has a history or that has a time machine that helps you to go back or undo changes, those can be also stored somewhere in the cloud, right? So GitHub helps you to do that. GitHub is one of the many remotes that helps you to manage Git repository. But for this example, we are going to use GitHub. All right. So yeah, so let's create a new account. If you have an GitHub account, that is awesome. But if you don't have, just click on the sign up. Uh, just normal process: create a username, create an email, and then you just put a password here, and then you just verify some puzzles, and then create an account. uh, really simple. So let me create one for you as well, so it's actually going to help you. Understand? So it's taken, right? So what else can I use? Okay, so when you create an account, you might need to verify your email. Um, you can just complete a step, um, check your email, you'll see a verification, and then when you're done, you can come back here and you can just click on this plus icon, right? So this plus icon, and you can create a new repository. All right, so I need to verify my email. I'm not going to do that. I can use my previous account, so let's do that. Okay. Okay, so when you land in your GitHub page, you'll find this plus icon in the top right corner, right? So you can create a repository from there. We're not going to do that now, but just for a like reference, you can use that. Repository is basically a way to store your stuff in cloud. So yeah, we're not going to do that now. When the right time comes, I'll show you that. Anyway, so after you create a GitHub account, you need to come back to GitKraken and then click on this sign in with GitHub. That will take you back to GitKraken, like GitHub, and then you just click on continue authorization. That's it. You can now come back to GitKraken and you'll see that a new window has appeared with some branding information. All right. So yeah, that's all about today. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can use this software to manage our project in a more efficient way. So I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Till then, take care. Bye bye.